Okay, some emotional and amazing reaction from the attorneys representing the two people that were shot and killed 18 months ago. We talked with Paul Cristallo immediately after McGinty announced the indictments, the two felony manslaughter indictments against Officer Brillo. Paul Cristallo seemed taken aback. He said he was surprised by the indictments this afternoon. He called these felony indictments of manslaughter against a Cleveland police officer historic in his opinion. Again, he seemed surprised. He told me that he was, quote, pessimistic that any felony charges would be filed at all. That's just how he's used to the system working. But he was surprised by the grand jury returning those felony indictments. I just got off the phone with Tyrone Reed, who represents Melissa Williams' family. He, too, seemed stunned. He was candid and admitted he did not expect such serious charges. We got that interview with Paul Cristallo. We're going to try and feed it in unedited, and you can listen to it. As far as defense attorney sound goes in a situation like this, pretty emotional stuff. They just seem stunned and trying to gain their footing. Of course, a lot of litigation continues. Both families have civil lawsuits still pending. They couldn't go too far with their comments because of the pending litigation. So what a breaking story coming here out of the Justice Center this afternoon. As soon as we get that sound with the attorneys, we'll try and feed it back to you. Live from outside the Justice Center, Paul Kiska, News Channel 5. You might have already reported this too. Here's Paul now. Here's Paul now. We interviewed him on tape. Paul Cristallo, you're representing the family of Mr. Williams. I'm sorry.
No, the Russell family.
That's right. Mr. Russell. And I talked to you in the hallway, and I got to be honest, you seemed a bit shocked by the indictments.
I was very surprised by them. I was surprised, and but I'm encouraged that as I said earlier, it's a step towards justice, and that's what I think the family is looking for, the Russell family and the Williams family. So we're encouraged by today's developments.
You told me a few minutes upstairs, just again after this was announced, you were pessimistic that such serious felony charges would be filed. Why is that?
It may just be that I'm jaded a little bit, but you have to have faith in the system, and this is a step towards obtaining justice for this entire tragedy. There's a criminal case that's going to go forward now against these officers and the felonies against Officer Brillo. There's the civil lawsuit that is still pending in federal court, and so these are just each one of these things is another step towards justice and resolving this whole issue.
You said what you heard this afternoon historic when it comes to these serious charges against a Cleveland police officer who we're told stood on the hood of a car and fired shots in two barrages.
It is historic. It's a manslaughter charges against a police officer in an excessive force case, essentially, and the fact that these felonies have been brought against him, I think, is unprecedented for the most part.
Paul, thanks for joining us live. Well, there you have it. Back to you guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul.